And welcome. Here we are, another amazing episode of 600 Pounds Down podcast. I'm Coach Justin, along with my friend Coach George, and we are here to deliver some amazing information to you that will hopefully, George, I know we want to change people's lives. That's what we do, man. That's what we do. So, hey, George, how's it going, man?
Dude, I don't know about you guys down there, but we got some sickness kind of running rampant up here. This whole influenza A kind of deal's going around. And that kicked my butt the last 2 weeks. My son had it first, and then I got it because, sharing is caring. And dude, that put me on my butt, man. Like week one was, I was sleeping all the time. I was like 12 hours a night. Had that going. And then the whole next week after that, like that fatigue set in. Like you just wrestled like a bear or something. And when I finally got better, so I told you this story offline. I'll tell it for everybody else so they can laugh at me. So, I can squat like 414 pounds for reps, fairly strong and whatnot. I like to pride myself on like my core ability. And Sunday morning, we're getting ready for church, right? I bend over to pick up my son's snow boots, and I hurt my back. And I had this like sharp, like heating, like searing pain. And I actually let out like and my daughter runs in. She goes, "Daddy, you okay?" And I go, "Yeah, Daddy's okay." She goes, and then she leans on me and she gives me a hug and I'm like, "Well, you're so precious, but Daddy's in a lot of pain."
But it's okay, honey. I'm fine. Daddy.
Yeah, seriously, that's exactly how that went. And so here I am, like finally over the sickness, and then boom, I hurt my back. I'm like, man, that's what happens when you turn 31. You start throwing your back out when you pick up snow boots.
Here we go. Now we're talking age. Okay, now 38 over here. Okay, how old?
Sorry, 35?
38.
You said
and you 38.
Oh, 31.
You're 31.
31.
Uh-huh.
I just turned 31 though. I'm fresh in it. I think I was breaking in the age a little bit,
Yeah.
Back. Yeah.
I think you're segueing us way too early when we talk about longevity. That's not coming until later, George. All right. So we're preparing them. How do we keep our back healthy for these
Seriously
unforeseen circumstances, right? Look at this.
Well, what about you, dude? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
First off, I see our friend Zach. He's leaving comments already saying he's the first comment tonight. So if you're here, show some love like Zach. Be like Zach. We should get a shirt. Be like Zach.
Be like Zach. Be like
great.
Zach.
He said, "I'm sorry. I think I'm hearing a cry for a chiropractor." Mm-hmm.
My bro's a chiropractor. That's why.
Oh
man. Yeah. So if you why you keep showing these comments, man?
I just think that should be seen. Did George say his squat was 414 or his age with a big laughing emoji?
It feels like that sometimes. So if you need a good snap, crackle, or pop, see Zach Fisher.
See Zach Fisher. He will hook you up with snap, crackle, pop, Mr. Rice Krispie. So George, interestingly, in my life right now, I am in a different phase of my, what do you want to call it? My fitness journey. I'm interestingly noticing. So I've been increasing my resistance training. I therefore have been increasing my caloric intake, not immensely, more like 1,800 to 1,900, sometimes 2,000 calories a day, depending on the day, right? But high protein, man, I'm probably getting at least 30 grams plus of protein per meal, and then some, nice. 4 times a day, roughly. So I'm doing pretty well. Carbohydrates are staying to like, they're probably about 100 or less a day is where I'm at with that. Okay. And the rest of it from healthy fat here and there. So I'm just trying to be very careful. And I have noticed, and I was talking to you before this, and everybody who's listening right now, listen up to this, because this can be part of body dysmorphia. All right. Mm-hmm. This is where we can like look into, which we're going to get into later, but just to segue into, or preface it, I should say, before we get into that later. Like I'm experiencing that like right now, because as we build muscle, you do become a little bigger. Okay. That just happens over the course of the last 3 months. I'm averaging about a 2 pound gain a month, 2.5 pound gain a month. So what would that be? 2, 4, 6, 7.5 to 8 pounds ish over the last 3 months. And it's like, I'm not eating terribly. I'm not doing a lot of sugar. I'm not doing anything like that. But I am doing higher calories. I am consuming higher protein, a little more carbohydrate than I'm used to, but everything else is staying the same. My activity's still good. I'm still doing my cardio sessions. But I'm just doing more resistance training. I'll tell you what, I feel stronger. My bench has gone up. My leg presses have gone up. I don't squat very well because I have a part of my leg that just hurts too much. I don't know an old injury, and it definitely makes it come back if I do it too much. So my squats are mostly like dumbbell squats, nothing too heavy. But the wall sits are getting longer. The glute bridges, George, are getting more intense. The Glute Master 5000. I'm going to try that when I get up there. This guy, if you don't follow us, Pound Down private community, this guy dares to post a video saying, my gym got a new toy. I think it's the Glute Master 5000. Coach Justin would love this thing. Okay, first off, I do love glute bridges. I do love kicking my glutes. It's not bad.
I wasn't lying. I was telling the absolute truth. Dude, that whole thing, by the way, was totally on the spot ad lib. Like, it's my spiritual gift, really.
It's a spiritual
gift. And hey, turn those apples to pears in 2 months or less, or your money back. All right.
I love it. You should sell that thing. But back on track. Let's go. So when it comes down to where I'm at today, I put on like around 7.5, 8 pounds in a 3-month process. And when I look at myself, I'm like, oh man, my clothes are fitting a little tighter in particular areas like my thighs. Also, my shirts fit good, but certain areas are more tight, like my chest. So it is really interesting how when you gain muscle, you sometimes gain a little bit of fat along with that muscle, right? So now our body looks a little different. And now I'm like, man, I want to get this fat off my body. So I just need to readjust a little bit and also be okay with this being like a temporary gain, right? Because sometimes because you're in that calorie, eating more calories, surplus of calories, what happens? You're going to gain something, some muscle, some fat. So I'm trying to accept that. But I'm also not going to stay there. And I can't let my mind get to this thing where I'm saying, oh my gosh, I got to start doing calorie deficit right now. I got to start eating a lot less. I got to start going into 15 or 1200 calorie diet again. Because that's what I used to do because I don't like how I feel right now. So I'm reprogramming myself to get, I guess, in a better place in my mind. So I don't want to go on about it, but it's just real. Like we look at ourselves and we have a standard. And if we're not there, we think we're failing. We think we're not in a good place, and I'm sure you have a lot of things to say about that. You've been there, done that.
Well, and here's the thing too, because we're going to put a pin in that because I want to come back to it. Tonight, we're going to be talking about fat burning, hormones, longevity, body shaming, gym phobia, and more. And here's the deal, guys. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the comment section because we'll talk about it tonight. It's grab bag up tonight, guys. So if you have a question, you want to know what's up, and you want to hear from 2 guys that have lost 720 pounds together, we'll give you that information here tonight on
the 600 Pounds Down
podcast.
Fun. I love that intro. But anyway.
All right.
We lost you. Your voice is not working, Coach George. I cannot hear you. Are you there? We can't. Whoop. I think his voice is, I think his microphone went out, George. Okay. He said timeout. Technical difficulties in the midst of a live segment. Happens to the best of us. So it's not test. One more time. Can you hear me? We are not editing this, by the way. This is going to be this. All right. He'll come back in. So when I was saying at the beginning, those of you who are still here, if you're not here just for Coach George, you're here for Coach Justin too. So wait, let's try him getting him back in here. George, you there? All right, he's trying to connect. Let's see what we got here. Got here nothing. All right. We'll see if he comes back. But we're talking tonight about a bunch of things, like a grab bag episode of just a bunch of different topics. So we are going to be hitting on fat burning, because some of us want to know about fat burning. We want to hear about how we can burn fat at a pretty fast rate, a normal rate. We don't want to lose. Think about this. When we say lose weight, we don't want to just lose weight. We want to lose fat. And so there's a big difference between the two. So we're going to talk about some of that tonight. Hormones. Some of our ladies, you are expecting more hormone discussion. We are here to deliver some of that tonight as well. Nothing too thorough in the sense of like, this is your next step to take in order to balance your hormones, but definitely some practical steps you can take to start the process. But it will get you in a good place. We want to talk about longevity. We want to talk about body shaming, gym phobia, and so much more. There's a lot to talk about tonight, so we're going to get into it. And just before the themes went off today, we talked about how our bodies, sometimes we look at these things and we're like, I don't like where I'm at. And so we're trying to help you overcome body dysmorphia and things like that as well. So we're going to be sharing that stuff tonight. George, are you there? Nope, we cannot hear you. It's okay.
Can you hear me now?
I hear him now. Darn it. I was really excited because I was like, we're going to do like a lip reading tonight, or I'm going to do this by myself solo, baby.
So check this out. I live in New York. It is 9 degrees, -5 with gusts. That's what that was. So this is what you get when you get live. You know, I live in a rural area and things pop off. So appreciate you guys for staying on, staying tuned in. And Justin, thank you for carrying my slack when my internet doesn't always want to. But Jay, you were talking about some changes that are happening in your body. You know, the body changes up a little bit. And these are changes that you are not necessarily comfortable with, but you are going through them anyway. So I want you to hit on that because I have a few thoughts about what you're going through, but I want you to hit some of the more specifics.
Yeah. So people, I mean, this is something that mostly I think everybody can relate to. We're not happy about what our body looks like, right? So I'm in that process of change, and I got to be okay with that. I got to come to a conclusion in my life where I'm like, I'm building muscle. It's okay to build muscle. I'm gaining a little bit of fat with it, but that's going to come off as I continue to get in better shape, as I continue to find weight around that. But when I look in the mirror, I can't be the guy that thinks of himself, oh my gosh, my chest is growing. That must mean I'm getting man boobs. My arms are getting bigger. That must mean I'm getting too fat. Not necessarily, man. I'm getting some muscle in there. My legs get bigger. Like, I don't want to prejudge myself without knowing the facts of what's happening. So I'm trying to come to a point where I'm like seeing my body and accepting me for where I'm at right now. Just like we all should. We should just be like, this is where I'm at. So it's like a recognition thing. And it's just thinking to yourself, all right, I know where I'm at. I'm not blind. I'm not oblivious to where I'm at. So we come to terms with that. And then now we can say, all right, so my next step is this. So I need to reconsider some things. Do I need to maybe have a little less calorie? Do I need to do a little bit more cardio, right? Or something along those lines to maybe help with that fat, or just be patient and allow that fat to melt off as I continue to build more muscle, which will help me build more metabolism that will burn that fat. So I think just being accepting of where you're at in life and being okay with it, and just know this is not a overnight thing. Like we have, George, sometimes I think we just want things to be like that. Microwaves, fingers, let's get this done right now. And we got to be okay with the process. And I'm telling myself this. I tell my clients this. I've coached hundreds, almost 1,000 people, dude. And I tell them this every week almost. You can't, what's the hurry? What are you doing? Why are you trying to get this thing like overnight? It's not life or death. Justin, do the same thing. Quit being a dork and allow yourself to learn through the process. What do you got to say about that?
Well, you're in an amazing phase right now. This is a phase that I get really excited about because this is the strength gaining phase, right? I love strength gaining phases. So you have been, because you've texted me your calories before and your calories are fairly low. And, it's a good maintenance calorie for you, like for sure. To gain strength, to build muscle requires a surplus of some kind. Now, you need to be in a 500 calorie daily surplus, 3,500 calorie surplus in order to gain a pound of body fat. Now, if you are strength training, you're eating the right food, right? Calories matter, but nutrition matters as well. You want to eat nutrient dense whole foods. We preach that here all the time. 600 pounds down. We love whole foods. Go there first. So if you're in a 200 to 300 calorie surplus, then you're going to probably gain about half a pound of body fat. Now, in a strength gaining phase, if you are weight training, if you are eating nutrient dense foods, and if you're tracking for the purposes of not overconsumption to the point where you're just kind of flying off the rails. We call this dirty bulking. We don't like dirty bulking. We're clean. We like clean.
Dirty bulking is like one of those things. You're a dirty bulker.
You're a dirty bulk. You know what dirty bulking is? Is when you go to Burger King and you get more than one Whopper.
That's dirty.
Did you know that Burger King, when they do the Baconator, or Wendy's, I'm sorry, when Wendy's does the Baconator, you can get as many patties on there as you want. You can. I tried. You just got to know to ask for it.
I get like 5 patties on that, please. Thanks.
I've done that. Way back in the day. Not now. Not now. No, we're back. Dude, it was bad. But anyway, so the fact that you're in a strength gaining phase, you are going to gain some body fat. It's inevitable. When you are in a surplus, body fat's going to be had for sure. I was tracking you are going through a phase right now that I went through from October to basically the end of January. So from October to January, I did what you're currently doing. And I was tracking my numbers. And I don't know how accurate the numbers were because I was using my watch and a scale, kind of like doing a collab, trying to get the most accurate numbers I could get. I gained 7 pounds of lean muscle and then 1.2 pounds of body fat. But see, if you're doing everything right, because your calories, Baconator is post-marathon. Yeah, that's right, that's right, boy. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
He's your spirit animal. Ben.
Oh my gosh.
Baconator.
Love that guy. Love that. He's our unicorn.
Yeah, he is.
But if you're doing everything right, if you're tracking your food, eating nutrient dense foods, weight training, getting your sleep, recovering well, you can really minimize fat gain. I'm not saying you can't eliminate fat gain because that's just a thermogenic impossibility. The laws of thermodynamics will not allow that to happen, but you can mitigate that. And Jay, I think you're mitigating that because you're talking about how your chest is bigger, your thighs are bigger, you're growing in all the right places. So no joke, I was commenting on Jay's. I was thinking about this before he said anything, and I'm like, man, the guy looks bigger, like in the best way possible.
Call me fat.
Coach George said I was fat, and now I'm going to go on a 1,200 calorie diet for the next year, and I'm going to hate myself.
Yep.
But you can definitely mitigate fat gain. So like right now, so like Jay, you're kind of in it. I'm near the tail end of it. So I went from 188 pounds at the end of October. Now I'm at 200. Right now, my waist size is still the same, except the pants are just a smidgen tighter around the waist, but my thighs are bigger, my chest is bigger. Really, the whole trunk of my body seems to be bigger because there are certain shirts that I can't wear anymore. I have a really long torso, and if I wear these shirts, the shirts don't necessarily meet the belt anymore, but it's not because of my stomach, it's because of my back and my chest. And so now what I want to do is I want to see the muscle that I built. So now I'm cutting back on the calories a little bit, but not a lot because I'm not doing what's called a hard cut. So I reeled my calories in about 300 to 400, not necessarily all the way to 500 right now, but like I reeled it back about 300 to 400 calories. And so I used to eat a lot of rice. I have swapped the rice now for stir fry. Because a serving of rice is 380 calories. I can eat a whole bag of frozen stir fry for 150 calories. So reel that in. I've started doing a double meat chicken salad for lunch instead of rice and chicken for lunch. So that's so I'm reeling calories back in. But I got my cottage cheese. I gotta get my cottage cheese in.
You have to.
All right. If you think hard enough, it's like vanilla ice cream.
Okay, you're losing. Stop.
But now I'm reeling it.
Wait. If they think, all of you, and if you're here watching this, just in the comments, just type a comment. If you think cottage cheese reminds you of ice cream, please put me or absolutely not. Let George know. We're taking a poll right now. I want to see 1 or 2 people at least say yes or no. Does cottage cheese remind you of ice cream? That's all I'm going to say, George. I'm selling this right now. That is gross. Okay. I love cottage cheese, but it is not ice cream.
It's like fermented salted vanilla ice cream, if you think about it. Okay. but
Heather, negative. Yes. And Ben, absolutely not. I love
Oh,
this.
he put all caps on the not too. It's all right.
Really,
It's all right. Look, look.
thank you.
One man with God is a majority. I'm
That
just
is not
saying.
ice cream. Just saying. That is not ice cream. Okay. All right. But
but yeah, so and I think this reels us in now. I think unless you have anything else you want to add to this topic, I was going to move into body shaming or body dysmorphia, if you will.
yeah, I don't want to talk about me anymore, honestly. I just know like we're going into this direction
Yeah.
where oh wait, Zach said one more. Puke. You said puke. It's not ice cream. Okay, it's not ice cream. So
that's this cottage cheese is the one thing he wouldn't let me put in the meal plan, by the way.
Yeah.
He's like dude, I'm not doing cottage cheese.
Don't be you cottage cheese. You have to do cottage cheese, Zach. Come on. So all right, we know that life is changing, bodies are changing. This is not an example. This is not a reason for us to freak out and say, "Oh my gosh, this isn't working for me. I got to quit. I go back to my old days where I starved myself and all the things." So, it's okay to be in a different phase in your life, accept where you're at and just try to modify and get better. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to continue to progress. Anyway, morphing into what you want to talk about next. What was it?
Well, I think this goes into a good body dysmorphia, body shaming, and then that gym phobia aspect. Because I know Zach posted a question on the post a couple days ago, and we really wanted to talk about body dysmorphia. Because I think the more obviously when you hyper focus on something, you're going to be also hypercritical, right? So you're going to see things that people aren't necessarily going to see, and the mind is a powerful thing. The mind can really shape your perception in such a way where it really doesn't become reality anymore. It's almost like this faux reality that you now create in your mind, and a world that you exist in now where everybody else is a liar and you are the arbiter of your fitness truth. And I don't think, obviously that's not a good thing. Like, don't care who you are, don't care what you think. That's not a good thing. So Jay, please, if you could, because this is going to put us into the general category, I think. Talk about in your mind, what are the thoughts that race into there when you think to yourself, I'm eating more calories, I'm gaining weight, I know I'm getting body fat. What are the things that run through your mind?
Dude, so it's crazy how we beat ourselves up. Okay. So right away, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting fat. Right away, I feel like I weigh 600 pounds, 800 pounds again. Right away, I'm thinking that I'm no longer my wife's not going to find me attractive anymore. Right away, I don't want to be on camera because I feel like, oh my gosh, like people are going to see me and I'm going to look like this. And really, it impacts my mind. This is, I mean, just being real and honest, everyone. Like, this is where I'm at. I don't want to be seen by other people right now. Like, if I go back to Pennsylvania right now and see my friends, I don't want to be like, oh, you put on 8 pounds. And it's just in my head. But like I don't sometimes going to the gym, I want to make sure my clothes look like I have a hoodie on sometimes because like I just want to not look like I have put on a little bit, So those thoughts I self-destruct, self-defeat myself, be negative. I'm negative on myself. And I don't know. I find and this is where I'm like reminded, why am I putting my value in my looks? Like, cause this is kind of, I think it's okay to want to look good and want to look, your best, if you will, and take care of yourself. But if I find value in my looks are going to change. The Bible's pretty clear that beauty is fleeting. Like one day we're all going to get old, right? I mean, we're going to have the sagging skin. We're going to have the man boobs. We're going to have the, we're going to have the gray hair. It's part of life. And so if we find our fulfillment in that, that's not okay. So I guess those are just where my thoughts go. Kind of feel shame. And that's not healthy. That's not a healthy place to be. And I'm trying to work on that.
Yeah, I think because this happened when I lost the weight, I lost the physical weight so fast that my mind didn't have enough time to catch up with what my body was doing. And I think once that happens, when you lose 90 pounds in a year, and remember, I lost a grand total of 120. So that's like 80 to 85% of my total weight loss happened in a year. My mind wasn't able to catch up. My mind was still thinking, dude's still 310. There are pictures that I have. Was I talking to Adam? Maybe I was talking to Adam about, yeah, because I showed Adam a picture when right before we entered Adam Pulio. Yeah, our last guest. When I was at his gym, right before we recorded, because we were talking about body dysmorphia and things like that. I showed him a picture of me. I was 185 pounds. This was back in 2022 when I was doing the Mr. Health and Fitness competition. And then we got to the steroid rounds and I didn't win. But I showed him a picture. I was 185 pounds. I think I was sitting about maybe like 10 to 12% body fat. I mean, I had a visible six pack. I showed him the picture and I told Adam, see this picture? He goes, yeah, you look great, man. Thought I was fat. Like, dude, I had abs. I had abs. I had striations. You could see the muscle groups between my biceps, triceps, and shoulders. I thought I was fat. Because a year before that, I was 174 pounds and I gained 10 pounds in a year. But obviously it was good weight. Clearly it was good weight. But the whole idea of gaining weight in my mind equated to fat. I couldn't do it. Because I think when you're in positions like we were, when you lose a lot of weight, or even if you're bigger right now and you want to lose weight and get to a healthy weight, and it's probably going to end up being a solid 50 plus pounds for you. You can get there. I'm sure you can get there. This is why I tell people to lose weight slowly, because you need to give your mind time to catch up with what your body is doing. If you lose it too fast, first of all, it's unsustainable. Second of all, you are not going to have a good mental picture of yourself. And that's going to influence. And people are like, well, what does that matter? Why does that matter? It's going to influence your daily decisions. It's going to influence the way you live your life.
I feel like you're hitting a lot of good stuff on that. And it's a lot of mental. And Ben actually said right here, he said, I definitely wasn't always this way, but so much happier now just being healthy. This is a good statement. I don't have interest in being super toned, but I know I have strength. I love surprising people that a 200-pound average looking guy can run an ultra. That's incredible. Yeah, that's amazing. I do see how the perfect, quote unquote, perfect body on social media can cause all sorts of mental health issues, especially for younger people. And I want to, that was really perfect timing. I did not even text him to say, text me that. But perfect, because I was going to say, we're living in a world today where there's these visuals right in front of us all the time. And I mean, dude, I have fitness gurus coming up on my social feeds all the time. And a lot of them are into their looks, right? The ladies are into their looks, the guys are into their looks. And I used to say, ladies, let's dress more modest, guys don't look. But now it's like, we all just want to show off. That's what I see. Like, I see both of us genders. I see showing off. Everything's about appearance. Everything's about how I look. Is my butt toned? Is my chest and my pectorals, are they solid? Are they out there? Am I getting a pump in my arms? Am I this or that? Right. And it's like become this big, and people are looking at this and it's like, this is the natural, normal way of what gym, and this creates some gym phobia because we're not all there. Right. And I'm going all over the place with this because there's all kind of blends together, but first and foremost, I think, number one, I think women have it worse in our culture than men do when it comes to body shaming. I feel like there's a lot more pressure on females than it is. Males get pressure, but I think women get more pressure. And so I can see that just by, I used to be a youth leader. I follow some of my son's friends, hearing what they have to say. Like, I just hear conversations, right? And it's like, wow, this world is full of judgment. This world is full of expectations of what you need to look like. These are the stars we need to look like. These are the fitness group, like all the things. And these ladies have a lot of pressure on them to look a certain way, or a male won't give them any attention, or their friends will kind of kick them out of their circle because they're not looking the same or dressing the same. And it's really unfair. It's a really unfair culture because we put our value and our stock in, this is what you're supposed to look like. If you're not there, you don't measure up, you're not good enough. And that's a hard feeling for teenagers, number one, but I can't imagine if somebody has low self-esteem, how much worse they would feel by not measuring up to, quote unquote, the status quo. You know what I'm saying? It's really disheartening.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of guys that show up on my feed. I'm into the weightlifting side of things. You got a lot of guys, a lot of young guys in their 20s. They started taking TRT and Anavar, D-ball, and these are all steroids, by the way. Well, HRT is not necessarily a steroid; it's hormone therapy, but still. But like D-ball, Anavar, Tren, it's just a god awful compound. But you have a lot of these guys taking this stuff starting at 18, 19, 20,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, they're asked, why'd you start taking that? It's taking too long. It's taking too long. My body, the way I wanted to be, it was taking too long. They're not competitors. They're not physique competitors. They're social influencers, which I almost argue is worse.
Yeah.
Because then you can't turn it off.
Yeah.
You can't just unplug.
We need
you need those followers. If I gain too much fat, I'm gonna lose like half my followers, man.
Pressure.
And going into longevity, because then they're body shamed, right? Like, oh, he gained weight. Well, what if he's trying to gain muscle, man? Like, what if he's trying to build? I mean, it's gonna happen. Our bodies are not static. Our bodies are ebbing and flowing with the goals that we have. I mean, when you do goal setting for weight training, you're gonna gain weight.
Yeah.
When you and then if you don't cut far enough, dude, even women, I see women cutting to like 16% body fat. Now, for those of you who don't know, 18 to 16% body fat on a woman is like 8 to 10% on a man. I mean,
I would argue that's really too low.
It is too low. I would say 22% is like maybe 20% is the lowest I would go.
20.
Yeah. Because it starts affecting hormones. But I look good. I promise you, any woman who is at 18% body fat naturally, not on steroids, feels horrible.
Let's talk about hormones first for a second, because we're all over, and it's part of the topics tonight, right? We're all over the place.
Yeah. And this leads into hormones now too.
Yeah. But we can go back to other forms that we're talking about tonight too. But we do plan on in the future, not too far out, having a balancing hormones class and even a program potentially for that. Of all the information we've taken in, so you're looking at two guys right here who, we don't have a degree, right? We're not here saying we're doctors or anything like that, but there's a lot of science out there that is visible to the common Joe Schmo. Okay. And lots of research has been done, and we've done a constant amount of research regarding hormones, especially women hormones, and even men who are beyond the age of 40 is another thing we like to look at as well. So these hormones are issues for people. We're putting together a course for that to help you, and a class for that to help you balance those. But until then, it is important that we recognize that hormones that are not balanced have a role in fat loss, have a role in muscle building, have a role in your fatigue and energy levels, have a role in your emotions and attitude, have a role in your hunger, and all sorts of on and on and on topics we can go over. Hormones balance life. It's just our hormones are essential to be balanced if we want to experience this kind of this lifestyle that's going to be a balanced feel, if you will, lack of better terms. So when we live a healthier lifestyle, it's evident that when we live healthier, our body becomes healthier. And so that means when we eat healthier, not ultra processed foods, not processed foods on a daily basis, but more whole foods, including healthy fats. And healthy fats would be like avocado. The egg yolk is fine. MCTs. So you got yourself even coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil. Those are all great to have. Those are healthy fats that you want to put into your normal dietary approach. When you have good protein, adequate protein sources, including all amino acid profile, okay, not just your, incomplete proteins. We want a full, complete amino acid profile proteins. So your chicken, your beef, eggs, those are probably your best bet. Okay, Mr. Butcher, Mr. George. George's got a bicep up. He's gonna be calm down.
I'm not even flexing.
Not even flexing though. He's not even flexing.
I'm flexing now.
Calm down. All right. So then we walk into the healthy proteins, and that should be majority of your meal. I would tell you, like, you should center your meal around protein sources, because
100%.
that protein source is what's going to help your body kind of have that balancing beam, if you will. Okay. So for not only metabolism, but also hormone balance, you're not starving yourself, your body can repair itself, and all sorts of good things that happen when you consume protein. Actually, if you want healthier skin, you want to have more protein at your meal. You want healthier 100%. Hair, you want to have healthy protein at your meal. Okay. Your collagen supplements are not going to cut it. They are missing. Actually, they're not a full amino acid profile most of the time. So collagen is just an enhancer. You can add it, but when you consume an actual quality protein, that actually stimulates that collagen production. Okay. So it's good to have adequate protein at your meals. And then of course you have the carbohydrates, the evil word. I just said it. I said carbohydrates. Oh my gosh. What am I going to do?
Why would you swear on the podcast?
I will bleep it out. I promise. I'm not promising, but carbohydrates, where we're talking like healthy carbohydrates, not your pastries, not your candy bars, not your Starbucks drinks, not like things like that. We're talking like sweet potatoes. We're talking rice. We're talking whole grain sourdough breads. We're talking like even not fermented. I'm sorry. Even like oatmeal that has been sprouted. That's even better for you. Okay. Sprouted oats. So we're talking like carbohydrates from fruits and vegetables. Those are the sources we want to go to, and they are not evil. And I will challenge you into, and I had some discussions with people on carnivore. I had some discussion with those on keto. They are afraid of the carbohydrate, and they're afraid of getting fat because of the carbohydrate. We used to live in a world, George, where fat made you fat. People were like, I can't eat fat, can't touch fat. Now we're eating fat all over the place, and now we're avoiding carbohydrate. Both of them are actually healthy. You want both of them in your diet. And if you don't get carbohydrates in your diet, guess what? Your body goes through this thing called gluconeogenesis, which
what happens during that process, Jay?
That's a good question. Thank you for stopping me and asking that question. So let me tell you what happens during that, George. So your body's like, oh, I operate well on glucose. I need some energy. I need an energy source. So, okay, it's going to take your protein that you've consumed, and it's going to convert that, if you will, into a glucose, into a carbohydrate source, an energy source. Okay. Yep. So it's going to take that, convert it, and it's going to be using that as energy. So that's stressful on the body though. And so these ladies, I'm going to pick on the ladies just for another minute. These ladies are going around and they're on this carnivore, keto, low carb, fasting, intermittent lifestyle. I'm doing it. You can leave if you feel uncomfortable, George, you can leave, because I'm going to call them out.
George has left the chat.
But I say this out of love, okay? It's out of love. Like,
you do. It's important.
Women, I'm challenging girls.
It's important. It's important.
There's the world that thinks that starving your body is the primary source to lose fat. You will lose fat by fasting. There are some benefits to fasting. I'm not against fasting, but if your lifestyle is, I'm going to fast every day. Now I'm talking especially for ladies. Now men, there are issues with that too, but you can get away with it more than women can. Women have a different body type, different hormone levels, and they're made by God differently, which is good. So what happens if you have a lifestyle of intermittent fasting over and over and over again? You avoid carbohydrates, you get some fat, some protein, but you're basically not getting enough protein in your meal. What happens over time with too much intermittent fasting in your body and not enough carbohydrate in your body, you're messing up your hormones. You are burning fat and muscle. So you might see that weight go down, but you're actually starving the muscle and you're losing that, right? It begins to go down, recede, if you will. You lose it. And now you're not going to be 100% happy when you enter perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, because now you really fluctuated your hormones by our choices that we made. Drop the mic. I better get out of here.
Well, and here's the deal. I actually had a conversation with my aunt on Sunday. And we were talking about perimenopause, postmenopause, and just because I was telling her about the hormone class that we're studying up on.
I just have to ask a question. Do you just talk to your aunt about hormones? So Aunt so-and-so. Tell me more about I need to hear how this conversation. You can't just say my aunt and I were talking about hormones. You got to be like, well, how this
Well,
is
we were
going.
talking about 600 pounds down. We were talking about other stuff, and I mentioned I may have mentioned, yeah, I'm learning about hormones right now, and we were talking about menopause, and I was talking to my mom too a couple of weeks ago because my mom's like, I'm intermittent fasting. I'm like, Mom, stop that. I want you to eat every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day, 6 meals a day. The more frequent you can eat, the better it is going to be for you in particular. Like you, Jay. If we just have that talking head on the screen saying intermittent fasting is the way to go, you're going to lose weight. Because that's what all people care about. People who are not informed, and it's not that they're not informed because they're bad people. I'm just saying they're just simply not informed. It's a general statement. Most people are not informed. They say, okay, the person on the screen said intermittent fast and I'll lose weight. True. But when you start going through gluconeogenesis, right? Did I say it right?
You
Okay, cool. That
passed
sounds
the
smart.
test.
There we go. So I said the 3-syllable word. So, but when your body does that, that's your body's backup plan. That's not what it wants to do, but that's what you're making it do.
It's stress.
It's stress. It's a stressful response, and your cortisol levels go up. You're gonna have problems sleeping. Here's the deal. You want to know what happens? You want to know what natural body processes get affected when your hormones are out of balance because we're doing stuff that other people are just saying just flat rate do. Your sleep's going to be crap. Therefore, your body's not going to be able to recover. When you wake up from crappy sleep and your body's not able to recover, and you are doing that on a frequent basis, then your ghrelin levels go up. Then you start getting hungry. Then you start to lose control because you're tired and you're hungry, so your self-control goes down. So what are you going to grab? You're going to grab the pastry. You know what happens when you grab the pastry? You're going to have processed carbs and you're going to have sugar. It's going to go through the blood-brain barrier of your brain. It's going to cause a sugar addiction. Now you got to continue to eat that sugar because you're not getting good sleep. You're not recovering. Your self-control is shot. And your cortisol levels are high. And then you're going to gain weight. You see where I'm going with this?
I think we lost 20 viewers.
You know how this could be resolved? Good hormones.
Yep.
Doing what you know you need to do because men and women are built different. God did it. I didn't do that. God did it. Second of all, when you're in different stages of life, it requires different things, right? So that's all we're saying. Hormone levels drive your daily life, and I'm not afraid to say it like that.
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm glad you said that. And here's the thing, guys. We're not anti-intermittent fasting. I know it sounds like it, but I also think there's a healthy way of doing everything that we do. Like even 5 meals a day sometimes isn't right for everyone. So we're not here to like preach saying this is what you have to follow. But these are examples when you give your body enough fuel. Some people do better on 3 to 4 hours. Some people do better 2 to 3 hours, right? That's okay. Some people do better when they fast for a couple days out of the month. They'll do a 24-hour fast, maybe a 48-hour fast. That's totally fine to do. We're just saying the lifestyle of it can, over time, create some hormone deficiencies, right? And that's not what you want. You don't want your levels to be imbalanced. Now, there will be things that'll happen. You can't help it. It's just part of life, the broken world we live in. You can do everything right and still have issues with hormones, okay? But you can do some right acts, some right things to help you have a better balance as time goes on, as you age. Now, George, I will say, going back to why it's important to have a gym membership, or why, and we're still on hormones. We're still on hormones here, by the way. Don't tune me out. So there's something called hormone balance, right? And there's something that can help that. And there's a new study, more of a recent study coming out today, not today, but recently, where it talked about how resistance training, we're talking about using weights, not just in your body weight, and also using weights. Put it down. Sometimes his biceps just start waking up. It's weird. So
they have a mind of their own.
They do. So when you actually have a drive in you to build and balance the hormones, you're going to do some things differently. So I would encourage, ladies, listen up, and fellas, oh my gosh, everyone, listen up. This is good. So you can start by doing resistance training or body weight exercises to help balance your hormone levels. Here's what happens. Interesting, new kind of study that came out. When you are imbalanced in hormones, when you stress the body in exercise, not cardio, we're not talking about cardio. It's good for you. It is going to do some different things for your body. And we don't say stop doing cardio. I love it. I do an hour a day. I'm not doing grueling activity. It's mental. It's good. I feel good. It's just good stuff to do. I go for walks, elliptical, but I'm talking like these resistance training exercises and what happens when you stress your body with resistance, suddenly your body's like, oh my gosh, stress happening to the body. Stress is happening to the body. Okay, whoa, what's happening? Because exercise is a natural stressor, which is good. That's why we can prevent premature disease by doing it. That's why we can, lower hormones that potentially make us feel angry, and it releases dopamine. And there's a lot of good things that come along with resistance. And so your body's like, stress. Oh my gosh, let's try. And what they try to do is it tries to balance. So your hormones have to adapt. So they might not go back to normal right then and there where it once was in your 20s and 30s. Thank goodness not when we were teenagers, crying out loud. We were hormone imbalanced then. but here's what happens. Your hormones say, all right, stress, let's try to meet this. Let's try to cope with this. And your hormones are now challenged. I'm just putting it in layman's terms. I'm not a scientist. Right. I'm not going to say it in like the factual data wording that they have out there with the plethora of words. But this is kind of Justin's way of explaining it. And it will help regulate hormone levels when you start to implement some more resistance training, and not just light stuff. Like I'm not talking, and this is okay if you start with this, like, your bicep curls, right? It's like, okay, this is easy, 1 pound weights. That's good. That's okay. But you want to challenge your body and stress your body. So it has to say, okay, let's adapt to something new. So now we're doing heavier curls, and we're not working, hear me out on this one. We're not just going to work small muscle groups. We need to work the bigger muscle groups. So what's that mean? We're going to work our back. George is the king of lats. He has the lats going on. Okay. So we got our lats. We got our back. We have our chest. We have our quads. We have our glutes, and we have our core. Arms are good. We want the gun show. We want the solid arm. But that's not the end all say all. And that's a really small muscle group. We want bigger muscle groups. Okay. And the bigger muscle group that you use, the more that'll increase metabolic rate as you build it, the more food you can have. Hallelujah. And the more toned you will look because you are toning that area up. Okay. So we're catching on and how, I'm sorry, George, I'm talking a lot, but
go for it.
We're catching on how we can really help the hormone levels of a female and male. Men, your testosterone drops a small percentage every year after 40 years old. Okay. It might be even earlier now, maybe 38. But as you approach 40, it starts to go down a little bit every year. How do you resolve that? George, you have the answer already, man. You know what it is. Resistance.
Exactly. When resistance training, so get this. I was watching a clip from a guy who's smarter than me, and his name is Sal DiStefano. No, you're PhD grade. But I was watching a guy. His name is Sal DiStefano, one of the co-hosts of Mind Pump, one of my favorite pods. He was talking about, there's a study that came out that studied cardio training only, resistance training, and cardio. So there was cardio and then resistance training and cardio. The people in the cardio group, as far as longevity, because now we're dipping our toes into longevity, right? We're going to dip our toes in longevity, and then gym phobia is next. Stay tuned. So longevity for the cardio group was generally about this. Now resistance training and cardio, the difference was not necessarily cardio. Now, I'm not saying cardio doesn't have benefits. Cardio has amazing benefits for heart, blood pressure, all that other stuff. But resistance training, having that muscle on your frame, it is indisputable evidence you will live longer. Your quality of life will be better. Studies are coming out now. Yes, have to combine them both. Ben said the deal. You have to combine both. Yes, combine them both. Because the cardio is going to help your strength training. The healthier your healthier your heart is. So unintentionally said that. Apparently, I'm making stuff up. Apparently,
I love it.
The healthier your heart is, the more you can push yourself. Right? I mean, ipso facto, 1 + 1 is 2. Right? So Ben's absolutely right. Combine them both. Resistance training is going to give you that longevity. The science is irrefutable.
I love that. No, that's really good. And then so longevity, they have found that the more muscle you have on your body, the more likely you are to live a longer life. Now they got the people coming in saying, okay, hold on. What about a healthy heart? What about your healthy organs? What about this and this? Yes, all that matters, but they're finding that muscle on the body, your muscle mass is a key indicator, one of the key indicators of having a longer life expectancy. Even if like a cancer bout were to happen, you have muscle on your body, more likely you are to survive. Not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm not here to say I'm a doctor saying it's going to be perfect. I haven't been in situations like that, but I have known studies and research that's come out that have stated muscle creates longevity. Muscle helps cancer survival. Muscle helps quality of life. So why are we sleeping on muscle? I don't know. I know our brother Ben he shared his testimony a long time ago on we had, I don't know if it was 600 pounds back then, but it was One Step Live, I think it was, and we did One Step Live.
Oh, that's a throwback.
Yeah, it's a way big throwback. But he shared his testimony on there about cancer survival and running marathons and raising money for marathons for I think it's some kind of charity up there in the East Coast up there. Buffalo Marathon, I forget. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of cool. He'll put it in I'm sure he'll say it in a minute. Yeah, he said, I still think that as muscular as I was when I went through chemo is why I survived. Yes. So yes, yeah, cancer survived.
I agree.
That's amazing. Yeah. So it is part of longevity. Now, that's not mean we cut out cardio. Does not mean that we don't do stretches and we don't do other things. But it really is take care of your body. Turn TV. Here's the thing. When we have a new normal and you want to really, if you cherish your life and you want to be different, you will make an impact. You will make a difference. You will adapt to something new and modify your life a little bit. So what I would recommend is everyone turn off the TV for a minute, turn off your cell phone for a minute, and use 20 minutes of that time. Just grab a pair of dumbbells and start doing something with those, or watch TV while doing that. I mean, you can get it going right there.
All right. So we do have a question, and we want to value the question. So Zach sent in a question. I want to show it here. So question: why do you think the main focus of health, weight loss, etc., seems to continue to shift focus, and we haven't found the answer? Carnivore believes meats and organs, vegans are veggies only, and keto is fast fuel. So what, Jay, I'm going to throw this over to you. Why do you think the focus keeps shifting?
That's very nice of you to let me answer that.
Appreciate it. Because I'm gonna go off what you say.
This is really good. Actually, I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was talking about what's the answer, because there's all this speculation out there, all these gurus. It just drives me insane. Like we're influencers too, so I can't like.
Yeah, but we're not the cool kids though. We actually do talk about things that like are real and make sense.
I appreciate that. That's a good statement. So you have people trying to get views all over the place, right? So when I say eat Twinkies, eat hot dogs, eat whatever you want, and just resistance train, you're going to be fine and gain muscle. Of course, if you're 21, you can eat anything and put on muscle. That's true. So think about your audience. Think about the people who are doing this thing and who they are, right? So some of that, I feel like we're influenced by a culture that really just wants views and really just wants to be heard. And we'll say anything. I mean, there's AI out there crying out loud, looks real, and we're believing it's Jesus holding a baby, and it's like, is that Jesus actually on camera? No. Like, there's things out there that trick us into think that we're like looking at stuff we're not, not really seeing, right? So I think there's some of that. I think everything gets good when a lot of these dietary approaches have something in common. And what is that? They cut out ultra processed foods.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Notice what did he just list? Because these are the things that are on there, right? Carnivore, vegans, and keto. You cannot have processed foods on those diets.
You can do dirty versions of them, but those are healthy, and you still can get healthier with that because you're still cutting out a lot of the junk, right? True. We also live in a culture that has a lot of food sensitivities. People have food sensitivities, and so what they'll do is they'll cut out certain food groups. I know some people who have different like Hashimoto's and celiac, and I forgot. I just slipped my mind what those things are called. I just had it. What was it? Autoimmune. Autoimmune.
I was gonna say autoimmune.
The autoimmune diseases. All right. And they have food sensitivity. So they have to cut out things like gluten. They have to cut out things like even some vegetables and fruits that can cause them to react. So when they cut that stuff out, all of a sudden they're feeling better, which makes sense. People have food sensitivities. People cut out dairy. They have a dairy intolerance. They're going to feel better. So I think there's a world of different, dietary approaches that can work for a season. But here's the thing. It comes down to how your body responds. George and I are very clear. We love whole food approach. And we're not anti anything. We're not, I don't personally eat gluten in my life. That's just my own personal preference. My family has celiac. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to join them, but I'll go out to eat once in a while. And I'll have something that has cross-contamination. I'm not impacted by that, but as honoring them. But I'll tell you something. I feel good. I feel really good. So I do believe in our food industry. We have something going on with our particular ingredients in our food. I really do. That's another topic for another day. But that being, guys, I will say, I think to answer Zach's question, I think there's not a one size fits all per se, but there is a journey you can take to help your body feel the best it can feel. That includes fats, carbohydrates, and great protein, adequate protein, moving more, drinking more water, getting some electrolytes, doing your thing, and you're going to have a healthier life. That's just that simple.
Well, and the only thing that I would add to, because I would say yes to everything you said, and as well, people are going to promote what worked for them.
Sure.
So if someone did carnivore and they had tremendous success, they think everyone should try carnivore. Same thing with vegan, same thing with keto. Like I would be the same way. Cause what did I do? I did keto and OMAD and I lost 90 pounds in a year, but you don't see me sitting here telling everybody you just need to do keto and OMAD for a year. You're going to lose weight. I would do it totally different. Like obviously I did it. God had me to do it the way I did it. Now I have a testimony about it. But at the same time, knowing what I know now, totally done it different. I would have weight trained. I would have done a calorie deficit. I would have done a whole food approach. I would have done everything totally different. It would probably have taken me 3 times as long to lose the weight. Full disclosure, but I probably wouldn't have struggled with the body dysmorphia stuff that I struggled with up until like 6 months ago.
I want to say too, when you were losing that, you and I both, when we were losing our weight, really, I lost my weight the wrong way too. And so when we did that, we just didn't lose fat. We lost muscle. We lost fat and
so much muscle.
Hydration. We lost.
I'm still upset about it.
Yeah. Thinking we're doing the right thing by cutting so many calories, and you might have to for a season. We're not anti that, but when we do things where we don't have a whole food approach, like we will cut muscle, and that's not what you want to cut. You want to cut fat, and sometimes that takes a little bit longer when you just cut fat and you still retain your muscle. That's one thing I find very interesting in our culture, man. Is people they want to see that scale go off like 3 to 4 to 5 pounds a week, and it can. Sometimes it can, but don't forget you're made up of water, fat, muscle, and a couple other things, right? Bone density. So all the things. So you can lose weight real quick, but what's that weight consist of? Do you want to lose hydration? Do you want to lose fat? Do you want to lose muscle? Or you just want to lose fat? You have to be.
When I was doing keto, I know I lost fat. I know I lost muscle, and I also wasn't drinking enough water either. So Justin, you just listed 3 bodily components that are weight bearing. Okay. So if you are going to do this right, you want to keep the muscle that you have. So you're not going to lose any weight bearing there. You want to continue to have the hydration. You're not going to lose any weight bearing there. So you're only going to lose out of 3 weight bearing properties of your body. You're only going to lose the fat. So it's going to take you some time because you can only lose it so fast. Right now, if you did what we did, right? We didn't weight train. Well, I didn't weight train. I'll just talk about myself. I didn't weight train. I didn't prioritize hydration. So I'm losing weight based on it's okay. You can do it. We all do it sometimes. So when I was losing weight, I was losing weight from 3 weight bearing properties. You better believe I'm going to lose weight really quickly. And I did. Not great. So if you only lose weight from the one source that you want to lose weight from, which is fat, of course it's going to take you longer to lose weight on the scale if you do it the right way, as opposed to what I did when I lost muscle, water, and fat at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Which makes you look skinny fat, right?
Which is what I was.
Or twigs, or just twig, like a twig.
Dude, I was 174 pounds at 6'2". That was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That was a ridiculous weight for me to be at, not healthy at all.
Yeah. And that can make you, I mean, and you thought some things about yourself. And I think we can look back and say, man, we probably beat ourselves up. We still, and then skinny wasn't skinny enough.
No, I still thought I was fat.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is.
Unbelievable.
Can't maintain that. But what's our last topic we want to, because we're approaching our hour.
Let's talk about gym phobia, because we kind of talked about everything else, I think, in tandem at least. Gym phobia, I think, is definitely something that's probably hitting hard now, right? We're in the middle of February. People have been maybe going to the gym a couple weeks now. And I know, because here's what I never did. I never went to the gym when I was overweight. I waited until I lost all the weight to go to the gym because I just didn't have I didn't have the confidence. Yeah. I wish there was someone in my life that was like, dude, if you go to the gym, you have no idea the camaraderie that's going to come around you.
Yeah. I think that's important. And if you're watching this, I don't want to cut you off. Just real, you can go right.
No, go for it.
But if you struggle with gym phobia, just put it in the comments. Just say that's me, or I used to be like that, or something, like, because we know we're talking to people who have real feelings. And when George or myself mention, hey, let's go to the gym, right away we think we're going to get stared at, judgmental thoughts come our way, and people are going to stare at us and look at us and make fun of us. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Anyway.
I promise you, you are your own worst critic.
Yeah.
You are going to be the hardest on yourself. I promise you that. More often than not always, right? You have your outliers. More often than not, the biggest, scariest dude in the gym is going to be the nicest guy and the most encouraging. Dude. There are some people. I'm telling you, dude. Yeah. There's this one dude that goes to my gym. I can't remember his name, but professional bodybuilder, and dude, especially when he's in season, he is scary looking in the best way possible. Like, dude is awesome. Okay. But he is one of the nicest guys. Yeah. One of the nicest guys. And let me tell you this. I bet he struggles mentally during the off season. I bet he does. When you are that just peeled, right, in season, you are just, yep, Lori, yep. I hear you, girl. I understand. But and Ben's going to say this, so I'm going to show Ben's here real quick. The top lifters put the work in and always love to teach. That's exactly where I was going with that. They love to help. They love to teach. If anyone who goes to Anatomy Warehouse, you ever see me in there, come up to me, because I am incredibly socially awkward and introverted. And I'm also just a weirdo, and I don't. It's hard for me to talk to people. No shame. So, but just know that if you initiate it, man, I'll talk your ear off. But if you ever see me in Anatomy, come up and say hi. Come up and ask a question. Have a conversation. Would love to have the conversation. Just know that that's out there. But I think when we struggle with gym phobia, it is. I would like to put the word internalized in front of that. Internalized gym phobia, because I think that's really what we're talking about, because people think that they're going to look at them and they're going to judge them for who they are. Yeah. But the mere fact that you think that's going to happen, that shows me that you have judged yourself before you even walked through that door.
Come on. Yeah.
So you need to understand, look, you walking through that door, you buying that membership, you have no idea how much of a win that is.
You know how empowering that is? If you want to take an empowering step for yourself, don't care what other people think about you, number one, because this is your journey and your journey alone. Number two, people are not at the gym. I promise you this. And if they are, I'm sorry, grow up, people. Grow. If you're a gym judger, we call them a GJ. If you're a gym judger, they need to grow up, because just because you have a good physique, just because you think you're God's gift or whatever, doesn't mean that you are. Okay. So just know that these people are few far in between, and we don't have to worry about those people. We don't live for their approval. We don't die by their rejection. We simply just fend for ourselves there. We're there for one reason only, to get healthy and for our own journey. So forget the haters. And I promise you, there's hardly anyone there and you probably never experienced that in your life. It's very rare. When they're at the gym, I'm focused on my workout. And I look around and see if I know someone. And then I might talk to one of my friends there. Hey, man, well, what do you live? Like, I may have fun with that. But don't buy into the lie that, You know, you go to a gym, people are going to start gazing their eyes on you. Now, people will look because you might be brand new. Like, who's this person coming through? You're going to have to be okay with that. But you have to know that you're not there for their approval. You're not there for anything about them. You're there for yourself. And it's a confidence booster when you can go in there and you can say, I'm here for me, myself, and I'm going to wear a blindfold in my peripheral vision and only focus on what's in front of me and not on everybody beside me and behind me. This is just me right here. So you do yourself a major favor. If you want a world of equipment that's going to help build muscle, help you get more toned, help you feel more energized, help you lose fat, you're going to a place called the gym, and that will help you meet all that. Plus the discipline, Georgia, comes with that. When you can actually make yourself an appointment, you set it 3, 4, 5, whatever times a week you want to go, and it's doable for you. There's a discipline that comes with that, a commitment level that comes with that not only transforms that area of your life, but actually starts to, you want to call it, bleed over in other areas.
Absolutely.
Oh, I got to be more disciplined over here too. I don't need to watch TV till midnight. I don't need to be in my phone till midnight. I'm going to go to sleep at a healthy time because I want to get up in the morning and go to my workout. I want to get up in the morning and go to work, and then after work, go to my workout because I want to have enough sleep for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking a lot on that, but I just want to say you brought up a great point, and we're here to really challenge you. What's going to make you go next level? Get over yourself. Stop worrying about other people think about you. I know it's easier said than done, but I promise you they're not looking at you every second. I promise you. And go do something favorable for yourself to make you get the best results. And that's getting a gym membership. That can help a lot.
Absolutely. And guys, there is so much we could continue to talk about. We have gone over the hour.
You know what? We're doing a 2-hour session tonight. We're doing 2 hours. So let's go.
We are not long form, brother. I don't know if my internet could handle long form.
With the mic
We've already had one snafu today. But look, guys, you know, I really appreciate everyone coming in. And Zach, I really appreciate this comment. All this info is gold, guys. Loving this. You know, when we came in tonight, we wanted to talk about what was on everybody's mind. You know, these are the topics that drive health and fitness. These are the topics that drive the individual to do what they do, to put in the work, to not put in the work. So we wanted to hit these things, and we wanted to answer your questions tonight. I hope we did a decent job. I hope this has helped you, blessed you, encouraged you, and strengthened you in your journey. We are here for you guys. Like I said, Justin and I, we're not the cool kids. All right. We're not the people that are going to say, do this for 5 weeks, lose 50 pounds. Okay. We have a private Facebook group, 600 pounds down group. Please join that. It has a ton of great people in there, and you will get some really awesome encouragement from that. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. You can also catch the replay here on Facebook, and you can catch the replay on YouTube. So check this out, guys. Go ahead and look at past steps if you haven't already. If this is the first time you tuned in to 600 Pounds Down podcast, we love you, we appreciate you, and we hope that this has blessed you. We got Leslie. Great topics, guys. Love the info and motivation boost. On my way to lift some weights. That's right.
Oh, Leslie.
Get it. Leslie, let's go. Jay, you have any closing comments before we end the app?
Man, you crushed the end there. It's so good. Guys, thanks so much for listening to us tonight. Thank you for checking it out. We'll be back soon, either next week or the week after, with some more guests. And it's going to be a phenomenal time. Keep listening. Keep checking it out. Sharing is caring. It helps us get the message out there. We really appreciate you doing that, sharing it with your Facebook friends, or even those on YouTube. It'd be awesome to see that. So thank you so much. You can catch us next time on
600 Pounds Down podcast.